Hi, I'm George Karras, and in this video I'm going to talk about what you need to do now that you've decided you want to quit your job and do something else. So the first thing you might think is, okay, well the first thing I need to do is sort of quit today. That's really not what you want to do, and there's two reasons for that. First, employers tend to look at people who have positions more highly than people who don't currently have positions. So it'll put you at a little bit of a disadvantage sort of in the job market. And the second reason is because, while it might feel great to sort of quit today after, 2, 3, 4 weeks of not receiving a paycheck, that might start to be stressful, and you don't want to come across as stressed as you're interviewing for new positions. So, okay, first decision is stay put. Now the next thing you want to do is figure out what it is you really want to do next. And there's a lot of talk about sort of following your passions, and that's great. But the thing you want to remember is that if your passion's sort of way out here and what you've got experience in is sort of here, it's really hard to bridge that in one step. And so you'll find much better luck the closer to what you already have experience with you look for a new position. So if you want to make a jump to here, it's much easier to take that jump and sort of make it in small steps. So in other words, look for a position now, gives you some experience, maybe a year, 2 years there, then another jump and then another jump to sort of get to that place that you really want to go to ultimately, as opposed to trying to make that sort of jump all at once, which can be done, but it's just very challenging to make happen. So the first thing is figuring out what you want to do position-wise. Once you've got that figured out, the next step is really thinking about how to tell your story and how to communicate your sort of past experience and why that leads you to be looking for the position you're looking for now. So you can almost think of it as kind of crafting a story of your career that really pulls a thread from the beginning all the way through to the end of where you are now and why you're there. This is not about recounting sort of all the steps in your career, right? It's not, I went here and I did this, and I went here and did this, and I went here and did this. It's more like, here's what's been interesting to me. Then I had this sort of insight and great experience, and I had another insight and great experience, and that led me to where I am now. And the tendency with telling your story is to sort of hit way too many details. You want this to be a simple, easy to understand story that gives people a sense of who you are and what you can offer them and why you're here today. So, okay, once you've got an outline for a story kind of crafted, what you want to do is rehearse that story a lot, rehearse it to yourself a lot, but then start sharing that story with friends and family and get feedback and make sure they understand exactly what it is you're trying to convey. So, okay, now you've got your story. And the story is critical because it influences the next step, which is getting your LinkedIn profile and your resume just right. The thing with your LinkedIn profile and your resume is you want to make sure that they tell the same story that you're telling verbally when you're networking or whether you're interviewing with somebody. So you can think of it as sort of brand consistency or presenting a consistent message out to the marketplace. You want your resume to say the same thing as your LinkedIn profile, to say the same thing as you would say when meeting somebody for the first time. So the place I see people get tripped up on this is sometimes, there's this tendency to say, well, the one thing wrong with my application is my resume, so I'm going to go spend, whatever it is, $500, $700, $800 on getting my resume just right. The problem isn't the resume, the problem is the story. You've got to get your story down first. After that, the resume and everything else becomes easy and sort of simple. So, okay, now you've got your story, you've got your LinkedIn profile, you've got your resume. The next step is networking. And networking is absolutely critical because, as you've probably already determined if you've looked at this a little bit, job hunting online is a complete waste of time. So you've got to network. Things haven't changed that much in sort of terms of how people find jobs since the internet. I mean, they've changed. LinkedIn's done a lot. There's some changes, but this is still a networking game. It's still about talking to people that you know or people who are in positions that might be able to help you. So what I like to do with networking is first say, skip the networking events. I don't know if you've been to those or not, but those are almost always useless. The odds of you meeting somebody who's got a position that you're looking for or can connect you with someone is pretty slim. I mean, I don't know, if you go to an event with 100 people in it and there's one perfect person, like what are the odds that you're gonna meet that person? The odds are 1 in 100. It's not gonna happen. So what I like to do is recommend that you first start networking with people you know, so your past colleagues or friends, and talk to them, give them your message, share with them where you're trying to go. And then from there, look at alumni, so alumni of the same schools you went to, look at who's in companies that you might be interested in, start having conversations with them, and then ultimately use a tool like LinkedIn to find people you might not know, but your contacts may know, that can get you sort of in touch and get you a step closer. And there's a book I really like about this called The 2-Hour Networking Meeting. It gives you a structure for it's the 20-minute networking meeting. And it gives you a structure for how to conduct these meetings, how to set them up and all of that. And I think it's really helpful. So I definitely recommend go pick that up. It's short, it's like this thin. So it's a really easy read and it'll give you some good guidance there. So, okay, so what are the steps? So step 1, stay put if you can at your current role. Step 2, figure out exactly what it is you want to do. Step 3, probably the most important step, learn how to tell your story right. You're going to have to communicate the story a lot. You're going to convey it, you're going to share it when you're networking, you're going to share it when you're interviewing. It's really important. Step 4, resume and LinkedIn profile. And step 5, start networking. So hopefully this was a helpful video and gave you some good insights, and thank you for watching.